بيسعدنا أن يكون معنا اليوم الخبيرة الاقتصادية الدولية الدكتورة روعة ALHarati. Good morning, Dr. Rawaa. Great to have you here.
Good morning, Hala. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. It's our pleasure. Dr. Rawaa, I needed time to catch up with your story. From small village to Lebanon, then to London, to France, to Rhode Island, to DC, back to Lebanon, back to UAE. What's the story?
Well, it's been quite a journey. It's really the story of a young woman, like many in this part of the world, with big ambitions, big dreams, seeking a better life, better education, wanting to make a positive impact and making her parents proud.
So you started initially, everything started in Lebanon, or you started with your passions abroad?
No, I was born and raised in a very small village in the Bekaa Valley, in the mountains in Lebanon. I was studying economics, but I moved from Besançon to Toulouse to Sorbonne University at the end, where I completed my master's and PhD. Then, as if I didn't have enough on my plate, I also started a degree at London School of Economics in Politics and International Affairs. Then I got invited to Brown University as a research fellow for a couple of semesters. That's how I got introduced to America. So yeah,
and
it was
then when you started it at DC with the World Bank?
Yes, and I went to DC, Hala, knowing no one.
What was your role at the World Bank?
So I was an economist, and I worked across Africa, across the Middle East. I met incredible people along the way. I spent a lot of time in Madagascar, and it was a great experience. But by then, I had already spent 12 years abroad, so I was itching to come back to the region.
And you went back to Lebanon then?
I did. I met former Prime Minister Saad al-Hariri in a fundraising event in Beirut. And I showed interest to join his office, his team. He had formed the government of 2018. And honestly, I wore several hats, from ministerial committees to SDGs to international affairs.
And, but one of the things, despite the financial crisis and all the sad news, every time I see you, I hear something you always say. You're so grateful to the UAE because despite everything and lots of losses, it helped you stand up again. Tell us about this journey.
Well, Hala, the UAE has been a beacon of hope in my journey. When I first came here after the financial crisis in Lebanon, my family and I had, lost everything, like many families, and I had to start from scratch, basically. Quickly, you feel at home. You're safe. You're respected.
Welcomed.
You're welcomed. The system, the entire system, is designed in a way to bring the best out of you. So, right from the start, I received the Golden Visa, which was, a game changer. And then I landed a fantastic opportunity with Majid Al Futtaim Group. So that helped me get back on my feet. And not only that, within 2 years, I was ready to start my own business. And I've always thought about it, but I always found 100 reasons not to do it, In the UAE, I found 100 reasons to take that first step, to start, because of its unique ecosystem.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, I have a curiosity. Why did you name your company KINS?
KINS?
Is it KINS, Arabic?
It's as KINS, as a treasure in knowledge. And Hala, I was able to set up KINS, open a bank account, sign with my first client in less than 2 weeks. I mean, where else do you get to do that? And another thing I love about the UAE is that every day you have multiple opportunities in terms of forums, conferences, places where you could meet incredible people, leading entrepreneurs and experts, seek their advice, learn from their experiences. That's how we met. Absolutely.
Exactly. And you did an amazing job.
Thank you.
With the Ministry of Economy. And I was so happy working with you. Very professional, very empathetic, and multitask, which is amazing.
Same.
Like, Dr. Rawaa, many times we hear when people study economics or politics, and then they come to the real world, they say, oh my God, lots of discrepancy between theorems and what the professors planted in our heads versus reality. What is real politics and economics? And this is your core, actually, faculty and study and research and domain. what were the main hurdles you faced in implementing real-life studies on the ground?
Well, that's a great question, and it hits close to home, so thank you. Let me start, Hala, by saying economics and geopolitics, they're deeply interconnected. So you cannot be a good economist without understanding geopolitics, and you cannot be a good politician without understanding the economic landscape. So whoever is trying to, is eyeing these fields should keep that in mind. I'm a firm believer that everyone should have a basic knowledge in economics and and finance and geopolitics, no matter what field you're in.
Yes.
Okay, it doesn't matter, because that's going to affect every day of your life.
It's the skeleton.
As an economist, people try to put you in a box. In my case, that box was because I had a PhD. I was expected to do research. I was expected to write papers all day long, to sit in front of a computer and just do that. And I hated it.
Yes.
I wanted to be on the ground. I wanted to work on projects. I wanted to be talking to the government.
And I love what you said, that not only studying and researching and everything behind the desk, but applying everything to test it. It's trial and error, to test it, to learn, to apply, to enhance.
Absolutely.
And to improve other skills as well.
And that's the difference between studying and then being on the ground. The other thing, as an economist, and I think you face that as well, people expect you to be an expert on everything. Oh, you're an economist, so you're an expert on finance, you are an expert on macroeconomics, microeconomics, labor economics, and I learned it the hard way, but it's okay to say that's not my expertise.
Yes.
It's fine. No one knows everything.
True.
Then moving to politics, careers in diplomacy and in politics can seem, from the outside, very intimidating and very inaccessible. Many people think you need to be, related to X or Y. You need to have big connections to get a foot in the door. To get a foot in the door and to get that job. That's not true. Finally, the last point on women in politics. People will always try to drag you down, to undermine your career, your experience, your intelligence. There will be people telling you, she got the job because she has a nice face, or, oh, she's always dressed up to grab attention. And what I learned is that these people don't matter. Don't try to change yourself or to prove them wrong, because if you happen to be smart, beautiful, fashionable, like you are, embrace it. Embrace it.
Don't bother.
Don't bother, because your work, your achievements, this is what will actually prove your worth and in the future.
This brings me, if someone now watching and wants to do what Dr. Rawaa did, and I'm just trying to summarize what you were saying, I think first advice is not to just stay behind your desk, just apply what you study, say no when you don't know everything, don't rely on network and influence, and don't bother with what people say. Any other advice to the people watching and want to take this path?
I honestly, you summarized it very well.
Dr. Rawaa, apart from the politics and the economics, I'm not sure if everyone knows the other crazy passion you have, which is you are an entrepreneur as well, and you own a restaurant in Mexico, in Tulum. How this happened?
So it all started in 2016. I was in Mexico on holidays. It was New Year's with a bunch of friends from DC. And 2 days before our departure, we had a beautiful day on the beach. Came back to the cars. There are no cars. The police had towed our rental cars because we were parked in a place we shouldn't have parked.
So really everything went wrong,
And it was so busy, no cabs. So my friend and I decided to hitchhike just to get to the police station. And this kind lady stopped in a small Beetle, picked us up, helped us sort, the car out. And she is now my business partner in this beautiful restaurant in Tulum in Mexico. Her name is Karen, and I don't take credit for anything. She is a powerhouse behind it. I was just lucky enough to meet her and invest with her. I think that the universe want us to meet that day and start this venture together. I'm grateful for this adventure.
I'm so happy for you and for Karen, and wishing you all the best. Dr. Rawaa ALHarati, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Hala. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.